Welcome to the Sports Bros Podcast, featuring the almighty B-Live, the money man Scottie D, and your host, the head of creative Eddy Kool. The Sports Bros Podcast, by the fan, for the fan, talking sports just the way you like it. And without any further ado, let's give it up for the Sports Bros. We talking sports. Did you miss us? I did. Yes, I did. I'm back from vacation. And with that being said, welcome to another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast. It's be your boy, the HOC, the head of creative, Eddy Kool. And I got two of the best co-hosts in the world. I don't know why B-Live is over here looking bewildered. Scottie D. Oh, Lord, what's that on your face? Lord have mercy, Jesus. So, back from vacation. And shout out to the almighty B-Live for holding it down while I was in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina to be exact, attending my 20th class reunion and being a lazy bum the last few days. I enjoyed my days so much down there. I was like, you know what? As I watch my Carolina Panthers defeat Tom, Edward, Patrick, Carmichael, Fitzgerald, Brady, I said, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and stay another day because I want to enjoy Victory Monday. Kind of wish I would have bought that Victory Monday t-shirt, but I digress. We're going to talk about the Carolina Panthers and more. But before we go any further, I have not one, but two of the best co-hosts in the world. They kind of like the Stephon Diggs and the Adam Thielen. You get what I'm saying? Of the Sports Bros Podcast. Introducing first, the almighty B-Live.
Yeah. What's happening? What's going on in the world today? I'm going to start off this with to my fellas. Once you get to your 40s, get checked, get a physical, get checked out, because you never know when your health matters. And being a lifelong Carolina Panther, well, it won't be say lifelong because I haven't been around since my entire life, but being a Carolina Panther fan from day one, this past Sunday, I saw the truest definition of the cardiac cats. I'm not lying to you. Holding chest, breathing hard, all of that, because they tried to kill me this week for real.
Man.
And then I come on this show, and then I got to see, I didn't think it was possible that the money man Scottie D could get uglier, but then he put on a mask, and he surpassed my expectations and got uglier. Literally has a face for radio. Go ahead and introduce the other guy, because he go. That's why I'm just over here like, why? Just go ahead.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and throw it to him since he's in the spirit. Introducing next, he is the pride of Washington, Pennsylvania. He is the assistant athletic director at the Trinity High School in Washington, Pennsylvania. He is the one, the only, the money man, Scottie D, with his MF Doom looking mask on.
It's me, guys. It's me. Happy Halloween. It was me the whole time. And I'll just end up walking in the cold November rain as we transition from Halloween into November. Oh, it's getting real. It's getting real. 8 weeks into the season, we're starting to figure out who's good. And B-Live, I felt your pain yesterday because that play at the end of the Carolina game in regulation was the best pass of the season in any game. The touchdown pass was spectacular. It was phenomenal. It was just a heave-ho that your boy got behind the defense. It was beautiful. If he keeps his helmet on, we don't know if they win anyway because your kicker may have missed that extra point from in close. We don't know. But yeah, it was a toughie, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But hey, it is good to see you guys, my two bros. After I missed you last week, I'm sure you missed me as well. Since we last got together, we have gone down to two teams in baseball. We've had some crazy games in the NFL and in college. and I am ready I'm bubbling over on this as we recording on this Halloween Eve, All Hallows Eve. So, hey, let's talk about, because as we're listening, we are now into November. Yes, sir, and I believe that's the birthday month of 2/3 of the Sports Bros podcast month. Correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, my birthday is on election day. So, yay, I got to share
Ooh.
my birthday with the politicians. If I had it my way, we would push election day on Chris Jericho's birthday, which is the 19th. Which is the 9th. But in the words of the Almighty Be Live, I digress. With that being said, let's go ahead and hop right into it, the top of the order. All right, let's get this thing started. Here it is, the top of the order. This NFL season, I had a conversation with someone today early at work, and we just talked about how the NFL season is just flipped, turned upside down, topsy-turvy, cattywampus, you name it, that's what it is, all over the place. Yeah, cattywampus. I heard that from the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast. It means it's a mess. It's a confusion. It's you get it. You get it. So with that being said, fellas, we're at the halfway point of the season. Week 8, formally the halfway point of the season. And I have questions, all right? And here we go. What team has completely changed your preseason opinion for them for the better or worse? And with that being said, you know what? I'll go first.
The floor is yours.
I'll go first. The Seattle Seahawks.
Woo! You ain't lying.
Yeah, the Seattle Seahawks, because all three of us, we just wrote them off. It's a rebuild. Blow up the team. Yeah, just threw them all away. They can't compete in the NFC West. It's just a bleep show, right? And then Geno Smith, he comes with having a career renaissance year, saying, hey, they wrote me off, but I never wrote back. However he coined that phrase, he should put it on a t-shirt and trademark that. He really should. And then you got DK Metcalf, who got caught off a stretcher last week and came back and played this week. And you got Tyler Lockett doing Tyler Lockett stuff. And going into the season, they had questions at running back because Chris Carson had a severe neck issue, and I guess he decided to go ahead and hang it up for his own safety and well-being. And then you got Kenneth Walker III, who came in and just provided new life to that Seahawks offense. And the Seahawks have been trudging along. They have been, like I said, at this point of the season, I think they would have been where the Carolina Panthers are at now, or even the Las Vegas Raiders were there at now from a record standpoint. But I'll say this, maybe the Seahawks, if they keep playing like this, maybe they bought Pete Carroll a whole nother year. Scottie D, what say you?
I would say the NFC in general is by and large worse than I thought. And I say that specifically Buccaneers. I say that specifically Rams, who I picked to go to the Super Bowl, and most certainly the Packers. And I think it's with the Green Bay. Watching Aaron Rodgers on Sunday night, he almost looks detached at times. He looks like he's just not into it. Like he has already surrendered the fact that we're just not very good. He's not even, I mean, they had just stretches in that game where they would just hand off. Now, it was successful, but in the past, if you're taking up chunks of yards with your running game and you're Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers, you're going to take some shots, right? You're going to start popping chunk plays. If you got A.J. Dillon picking up 5 yards a carry and Aaron Jones picking up like 8 and 10 yards a carry, and the defense is going to have to key on them, you're Aaron Rodgers, you're going to pop one down the middle to somebody or go deep. The one time they threw the ball down the field, it went for a touchdown to Romeo Doubs, and he made a spectacular catch. But Aaron Rodgers, throughout the evening, he's throwing like dink and dunk passes, like passes in the backfield, hoping to run for first downs yards. I think in the third, going into the fourth quarter, he had 76 yards, or at some point late in the third quarter, he had like 76 yards. It's just not what you expect from Aaron Rodgers, even without Davante Adams. And Eddie, you and I kind of were talking. You posed the question: who's misses who more, Davante Adams or Aaron Rodgers? And they miss each other terribly, because I think Davante Adams with the Raiders had a catch the other day for for 3 yards. I mean,
I
that's
want to talk
certainly, if you're the Raiders, must be a fantasy issue. But certainly, if you're the Raiders,
I had him
you
on
didn't
two of my teams.
invest. You didn't invest in that guy to get that production. And that, to me, is a coaching problem. That's a Josh McDaniels problem, because that's another team that's doing way worse than I was expecting. But to me, Green Bay. Now, having said that, Green Bay could still right the ship. It could get a little momentum. If we've learned nothing in past years, it's that at this point of the season, you have a time to get hot, and a hot team often rolls into the playoffs and goes to the Super Bowl, just like the Buccaneers did a couple years ago, just like the Giants have done in the past as a wild card team. So we're getting ahead of ourselves right now for writing teams completely off, because there is time. But you have to admit, Green Bay looks terrible right now. They just, it looks like they're not on the same page at all. They're offensively, they are whack. And I hope they stay that way for at least a couple more weeks, because the Cowboys are going up there in 2 weeks and could really use a win over Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay at that particular time. But I don't root for Green Bay. I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan, so I'm not like brokenhearted, but I am surprised that the fall has been this precipitous. I was not expecting it to be this bad. They lost 3 in a row, I think. Lost opening day, and then their record is 3-5 at the moment. Or they've lost four. They've lost 4 in a row.
Four games.
Four in a row. I tell you, with that guy as the quarterback, I would not expect it. And maybe Father Time's starting to knock on his door. But I tell you what, for a guy who made a big deal of contract situation and all that stuff last year, maybe I'll retire or maybe I'll go somewhere else, and he got what he wanted, a boatload of money. And because of that, he couldn't keep his best target. So I ask you, are you happier, richer right now, Aaron Rodgers? Are you happy? Be Live, what say you?
I'm going to say this real quick. He is happier. You know why? Because Aaron Rodgers, at this point in time, you can pretty much say only cares about Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
He made that plain and clear.
He looks miserable. He looks miserable, though.
He looks miserable because guess what? That he's sort of the face. They're going to ask him these questions that he really doesn't want to answer. If he wanted to be 100, he wants to be 100% honest. Like, man, I done got the bag, and I got exactly what I wanted, because that's exactly what he did. He had that type of power, and he went the exact opposite route that Tom Brady did. Tom Brady gave up millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers said, no, I'm going to get mine, and screamed and cried about contract extension. They got exactly what he wanted. And he's going to leave the franchise at a detriment, because they have no way of improving. They have absolutely no way of improving. What has surprised me the most, though, I'm going to say this. It is actually the Philadelphia Eagles. I knew they were going to be good, but with the addition of A.J. Brown, and I think they just add, who did they add?
Robert Quinn, who had a quiet 18.5 sacks last year.
Ooh, they are in it to win it. Buffalo Bills, I want you to win, but please let it not happen again in the Super Bowl. To lose the Buffalo Bills need a Super Bowl. This is it. This is their year. They have to. I mean, I think they're going to be around for years to come with Josh Allen at the helm. They're going to be there for. But this is clearly their year. They're the favorites to win it all. But the Eagles are 7-0 for a reason, and they're playing good. And they got deeper. AJ, man, you know what? Let me go ahead and get this out of the way. Fantasy football problems. AJ Brown got 3 touchdowns in the first half.
3.
And of course, I've got Devontae Adams on my team. Got me nothing. They key me. But man, the Philadelphia Eagles, they're deep. I mean, cornerbacks. Darius Slay is that dude. I mean, oh my goodness, they're getting better. I think they could give the Bills a legitimate shot. I think we're going to be able to see a lot when the second go round of the Eagles versus the Cowboys. Cowboys are playing decent. the thing that also surprised me the most is just we just don't know. Like I think I think the Bills are cream of the crop, but Kansas City could take them down at any given point in time. The Eagles are the cream of the crop of the NFC, but do not sleep, and I mean do not sleep on the Minnesota Vikings. They're 6-1 for a reason.
I was just going to say, are we overlooking them too much because they are stacked? That's a stacked team.
So,
the thing
is
about
it because we've seen Kirk Cousins too much in the past? Is that why we're just not looking at them enough? Because you just don't hear a lot about them.
The thing about this is the reason why we don't hear about them, is because it's Kirk Cousins.
Yeah,
he has a propensity of disappointing us late in the season, and so I mean, they got a squad, but it's Kirk Cousins. It's almost the same way as Dallas has a good team, but it's Dak Prescott. Or all those years, Dallas had a good team, and it was Tony Romo. The reason why we talked about Dallas is because Jerry Jones knows how to market his team. But Dallas has had stacked teams and just doesn't finish late in games and it's late in the season. And that's maybe why we're overlooking Kirk Cousins, because we just never seen them have a deep run.
They're not the flashy team like the Cowboys are. The Cowboys have the history and the cheerleaders, and yeah, they're the Cowboys. But the Vikings, we've seen teams have quarterbacks that mature late and get it. Like Rich Gannon went to the Super Bowl with the Raiders, and he was considered a journeyman quarterback at the time. It's not like Kirk Cousins is terrible. He puts up good numbers every year.
Oh yeah,
it's not like he's not a scrub.
Let's put it this way. Also, he's overshadowed in his own division because there's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
So we expect that coming into the season, at the end of the day, back-to-back MVP Aaron Rodgers would be the best, and they would have the best team in that division. Minnesota's always played second fiddle to Green Bay.
They're under the radar. They're under the radar.
Way under the radar.
Real sneaky.
We're actually spending more time talking about Aaron Rodgers and his policies,
right?
And then actually how good the Vikings are. Let's change that narrative. I don't know. Hey,
it'll be interesting though, as you know how the NFL goes down the stretch as the games get kind of flexed out of primetime schedule. If the Vikings start getting put into more so-called under the lights situations, more national attention, if they hold up to that. I mean,
and then hopefully we don't have to watch any more Denver Broncos games.
God, Lord, how long? Oh no.
I was so mad when I woke up Sunday morning because I intended on sleeping in because it was the Broncos versus the Jaguars. I was like, there's no way I'm setting an alarm to wake up that early to see yet another Denver Broncos game. It wasn't half bad. Trevor Lawrence, bro, I'm going to need you to get better because some of these throws, bro, you're supposed to be the heir apparent. You're supposed to be the learning curve has got to be you got to learn a little bit quicker than this. That's a whole nother story. I digress. But yes, we're overlooking Minnesota and Kirk Cousins because they've always been under the radar. They've always been. Even when it was the Minnesota Miracle, they were overlooked by the Saints. Mm-hmm. I mean, just they've never been in our eyes the best team in the NFC, let alone their own division. They haven't been. Since Aaron Rodgers has been in the league, they've never been the better team. So for them to be where they're at right now, is it really a surprise? We probably should look a little bit more into the Minnesota Vikings. We shall see. Hey, we got another half of the season to go. That's why we're here right now to talk about it. Let's get it.
Yep. And just like we all agree, like, okay, the reason we're not really too high up on the Vikings is because it's Kirk Cousins, and towards the end of the year, he kind of tails off, and then it's kind of like, okay, this is typical Kirk Cousins, and here's the Vikings with this stacked team, and Dalvin Cook healthy, and Adam Thielen being Adam Thielen, and then Justin Jefferson doing his thing. So all right,
he's elevating. His arrow is up and continuing to rise.
Boy, he bad. Ooh, Justin Jefferson he is just next level, man. He's just next level in such short time. The Vikings are good. We cannot sleep on the Vikings, and we also can't sleep on the Giants, despite the Giants. The Giants was another team that we didn't expect anything happening. But I'll say this: the players have bought into Brian Daboll. They have bought into him, and they are playing some tough physical football for him. I mean, despite the fact you got Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, they still making it happen. And we finally got a healthy Saquon Barkley. And having Saquon healthy, that's going to pay huge dividends for the Giants going down the stretch. And for the first time in forever, the NFC East is tough. It looks like it did back in the old days, minus the commander skin teams. It looks good.
Let me put it to you this way: the New York Giants sitting at 6-2. If they were in 5 different divisions, they would be the division leader.
Yep.
They're sitting in 3rd at 6-2. That's insane. How the NFC East just turned over on its head. And man.
And I tell you, this past weekend, you wouldn't have bought it if I'd have told you ahead of time that on that Sunday, on that weekend, only one game on the whole schedule featured 2 teams with winning records. And that was the Seahawks and the Giants. I mean, when you have Bills and Packers in primetime, would you have bought the fact that only one game was going to have 2 teams over 500 and that would be the game? And I agree with both you guys as far as like the Seahawks and the Eagles. I was expecting the Eagles to be better, but I kept saying, why is everybody jump on the Eagles? They're not going to be that much better, but they are. They're getting great quarterback play, which I was not counting on. And the Seahawks, I actually went online and made a bet preseason that the Seahawks would win under 5 games, and they have already won 5 games. I thought they were in contention with Houston for the number 1 pick. The one team that has not let me down is the Lions. They are continuing to line up like they do year in, year out. So there you go.
I keep trying to give, like, I feel like they just get over the hump, and they just like, you want to believe in Dan Campbell, but you just
the knee biters.
They don't have the talent though, and they don't have a quarterback. They're trying. I watched them play Dallas tough last week, coming off the bye week. They're trying, and they have some players here and there, but they're not there. They're bad. We'll say they're bad.
Well, the defense can't stop a nosebleed. It is what it is. I mean,
yeah.
But
you should have never fired Jim Caldwell. All right, you should have never fired Jim Caldwell. And then you got Matt Patricia, Captain Caveman looking ass in there. Look like he ain't watched in 3 years. And now you got it. And this is what you get, Detroit. Yeah, I said it. This is what you get. You shouldn't have fired Jim Caldwell. Jim Caldwell was what, 9-7? And I think they didn't go to the playoffs or I don't remember. But they were winning under Jim Caldwell. They were competitive under Jim Caldwell. Of course, they had Matt Stafford back then. But still, they were you should never fire Jim Caldwell. You should have never done it, and now you're paying for it. I mean, who's to say that he would have been here now? But it's like, now you see the effects from.
Didn't they fire him after a 10-win season?
Yeah. Well, either 10 win or 9.
Or 9, something like that.
Yeah, yes, that's what I'm saying. Like what that was. I don't understand the logic in that. I just
the temptation of the fruit of the Belichick tree was too much to resist.
How's that working for you, Vegas?
Yeah.
How'd that work for you? The Giants,
Notre Dame.
Yeah. Notre Dame,
Cleveland,
Kansas City. How's that working for you? That goes to show once again that a lot of these guys, with the exception of Brian Flores and Bill O'Brien, they have the ability to win. But the rest of these guys, like, you guys are old. You guys, I don't want to. I'm the kind of person, I don't like typecasting people and putting them in boxes. But when Romeo Cornell, coordinator, Charlie Weiss, still getting paid off from Notre Dame, a coordinator, Joe Judge, back with the Patriots. You got Josh McDaniels. This is his second job as a coach. He still dresses like a 12-year-old. He still wears a visor indoors. Put a hat on or get a damn haircut. You got to do something, Josh McDaniels. I don't understand this. I just don't get like the whole Belichick tree. It looks sexy, but a lot of that fruit stinking, rotten, wouldn't touch it. I know I'm gonna catch heat from Patriots fans, but guess what? It's my podcast. I do what I want to do. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
Oh man, I can't argue with any of that. And what makes the NFL intriguing, to say the least, especially this year, is that it's going to be a dogfight. It's going to get ugly the second half of the season. The NFC East, it's going to be week 18. Well, I'm pretty sure there's some NFC East matchup that we're literally going to be on the edge of our seat. So you know what? Let me look it up right now.
Well, let me ask you this. Let's get the elephant in the room.
Okay.
The Carolina, the end of the Carolina.
I don't want to talk about it.
It's therapy. It's therapy. A lot. I know that the big topic was that the flag shouldn't have been thrown after the play, but at the time, nobody was arguing. That was not a case being made on the field. The players are taught when you score, you cannot take your helmet off, and they say go to the sideline to do your celebrations, all that. You can't go to the ground. You can't taunt. You can't do excessive celebration. You can't pull your helmet off. All that stuff. The guy made a mistake. It is what it is. And on 2 occasions, his kicker could have bailed him out just by making a field goal off or a kick off of a perfect lie. Well, you weren't outside in bad weather. You weren't on bad turf. That extra point changed that whole division. It would have been a 4-way tie, correct? It would, if
4-way tie.
Yeah,
everyone had the same record.
And the Panthers would own the tiebreaker because they'd have been 3-0 in the division.
Yeah,
and they all would have been 3-5. Let me go ahead and I'm elephant in the room since you brought it up. Let me put it to you this way. I think the rule is stupid. I think it's stupid as hell. You don't throw that flag at that particular point of time in the game. For what? Why? The guy's a human.
You have to. It's you can't just say I'm gonna
throw the entire rule out.
Okay, well, and there's a case for that. There's a case for that.
Yeah,
I mean, there is.
Oh yeah,
but the rule is there. It is in place, and you're taught not to do that. So I mean,
you're taught very much so. But put this into perspective. Just look at the totality of the play. 12 seconds left. You actually get behind the defensive backs. And one of the best throws I've ever seen in my entire life.
It was a great
drop of a dime. He gets behind the plays. He reaches out to catch it. Every bit of emotion is running through him. And he's thinking, yes.
It's the biggest catch of his career at this point.
It's a rivalry game. And you're in enemy territory. With 12 seconds to go, come on.
It's a dumb thing to do. It was a dumb thing to do.
It is.
It was emotional, but it was dumb. It was dumb.
Find the man after the game. It should not affect the game on the field. Find the man afterwards. It should not have been a 15. It did not endanger anybody. There's no player health concerns. There was absolutely no.
But you see it all the time. Late in games, pick sixes and stuff. Everybody goes crazy and flags fly. Yeah. And usually the guys don't care because usually a lot of time the game has been put out of reach because something like that happens. And usually that's when guys don't care. They blow off steam and do that. And that's what he did. But the game was still technically hanging in the balance. You can't do that. You have to.
I understand that, and that's what I get the letter of the law. I get the rules in place for a reason. I just think it's it should not be enforced during game play. That
you have to. You can't.
How? No.
Official
give me.
Because if he doesn't throw the flag, the other team's gonna say, "Why is that not a flag? He just broke a rule blatantly."
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the rule is stupid. I didn't say that the ref shouldn't have thrown the flag. The rule is stupid and it needs to be thrown out.
Okay, again, that's a whole other
no.
argument. And if you want to make that argument, okay. I mean,
that's
for
the
me,
point that I'm making.
For me, I don't care. I personally, I think
of course you don't care because it didn't affect you at all. Your blood pressure didn't go through the roof. Mine did. I'm over here.
You know how many times Terrell Owens cost the Cowboys 15 yards because that dude, it was more important for him to go to the ground or do a Saturday Night Live sketch after completing a play.
Saturday Night Live sketch.
He did. And I hated that. And to me, that junks up the game. And the taking of the helmet off, that rule's been in place since Emmitt Smith started doing that back in the 90s. They said, we're not doing that anymore. So it's not a new rule. If you want to change it, okay, change it. I don't really care. I think all touchdown celebrations, not all, a lot of them look really, really stupid. It's asinine what some of these guys do. Taking off the helmet. If you want to take off your helmet and get your mug on TV because you made a great catch, and they want to say the rule is okay with that, okay. But this is kind of goes back to, remember the young lady that got kicked out of the Olympics last year for testing positive for weed a month out. We all agreed that was a stupid thing to do. She knew the rule, whether it should or shouldn't be in place. It was, and you have to go by that.
Here's a perfect example. Stephon Diggs, Minneapolis Miracle.
Game was over.
The game was over.
But here's the thing. Why should that affect, why should that be a 15-yard penalty? It should be a fine. You should be like, hey, we don't, but it does not affect game play.
I understand what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing. With that.
That's where I'm at. I get it, sets a rule, and refs should have thrown the flag, yes. But the rule actually says that he could have taken his helmet off because he was off the field of play. But it's neither here nor there. My blood pressure, you got my blood pressure back up, but it's okay. It's all right.
And I will say this though, Scottie D. I think you saw it too, but that pass interference call on Robert Tonyan last night, I was like, okay, you know what? I don't know how I felt about that, man. I didn't. I'm like, well, Chris Caldwell, you can't throw him to the ground. I mean, he wouldn't try to throw him out the ground. I was trying to get him out of the way, and old dude stumbled. So I'm kind of like,
yeah,
it was a little janky, but yeah, who knows? I just think it's just refs do better, in the words of Scottie D.
It wasn't the refs' fault in the Panthers game. They called it right. Eddie Pinheiro, you're dead to me. Let's move on. Let's get into something that makes me happy. You know what time it is.
All right.
I don't know. I don't even know what time it is. You know what?
We're getting there. But before we get up out of here, that's it for the NFL talk. Guess what? It's time to talk some baseball. We're talking about the World Series coming right up after this on the Sports Bros Podcast. Well, the last time we talked to y'all about baseball, it was 4 teams left. Now there are 2 teams left: the Houston Astros and the Philadelphia Phillies. Game 3 was supposed to happen during recording of this podcast, but rained down. It got rained down. So it got postponed, aka PPD'd, to another date. So at this point, when it comes to World Series, fellas, do we like what's going on with the World Series? Are we satisfied? Is it like, hey, how do we feel about it? Are we excited? Are we like, this could be better? How do we feel about it, fellas?
I'm excited about it because it's the World Series and I'm a baseball fan. But I could be more excited about it if it wasn't the Astros. I'm starting to suffer from Astros fatigue. People always root against the Patriots because they get sick of the Patriots fatigue and they got tired of watching Brady in the Super Bowl every year. I'm like that with Houston now. And especially because when they got this whole thing started, they were cheating. And that stigma just hangs over that team. And it's a really good team. This is a really, really good team. They're probably the best team in baseball this year. The Dodgers obviously work record-wise and have since fallen by the wayside. And we were not excited about Philly at all season. They were the last team to earn a playoff berth. Right now, they're exciting to watch, though. They're playing good baseball. And to punch their ticket to get in, you have the man that they signed. They spent all their money on. Bryce Harper comes up in the biggest moment of his career and hits a bomb opposite field home run to oust the Padres and and prevent them from having to go back out to San Diego, where anything could happen if you're on the road. Bryce Harper had the hit of his lifetime. They're rocking and rolling there. They're an exciting team to watch. And and game one, they're down 5-0 to Verlander and come roaring back. You spot Verlander 5-run lead. You got a tall order, especially with that Houston bullpen. And they came back, and Real Muto hit the home run in 10th inning, and overcame Kyle Tucker, who hit 2 home runs in that game. And then in the next game, it was all Astros. They decided to be the Astros, and Altuve's hitting again. I think he's batting over 400 at this point. And earlier in the postseason, he had like a stretch of like 0 for 25. He couldn't buy one, no matter where he hit it or how hard he hit it. And so he's kind of back playing. I'm still expecting Houston to get at least one in Philly and get the series back to Houston. And I do think they're going to win this thing. It's not as exciting as it could be because I'm sick of seeing them, and I'm not a fan of them. I was rooting for the Yankees, and if they gotten in there, a lot of people have said the same thing. I'm tired of the Yankees, even though they haven't actually been to the World Series since 2009, but they're a perennial postseason player every year. But yeah, I mean, I love this time of year. I was telling you guys this on 2 weeks ago how I love having like the postseason day games and the excitement, how every pitch matters, every strike count. I mean, I love it because I am a baseball fan, but this was not the marquee matchup that I was expecting.
Well, I'm gonna say this the best way that I know how. Hate, 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 hate. Hey.
Saw that one saw that one coming.
Salty. I don't like it, but no, I'm a baseball enthusiast, especially when it comes to October into November World Series. Of course, you want to watch it. It's just, you said it best, Scottie D. I don't like the Astros. The Astros literally are the New England Patriots of baseball, because everybody says that the Patriots cheat.
Yeah.
The Deflate Gate, all the Spy Gate, and all kinds of other gates and whatever, and everything but the pearly gates. But I'm just saying, and then Houston, every time
Christina Applegate.
every single time I hear the Houston Astros,
swinging gate football. I'm my bad. Go ahead, B-Live. I'm sorry.
All I can think about is there's a Broadway musical that they bang on trash cans and buckets and everything. I forget what the name of it is, but that's what I think about, them banging on trash cans. They're cheaters. It is what it is, but they're a perennial powerhouse. They make it into the world. They've made it 3 out of the past 4 years. They've made it to the World Series. They
yeah.
And on top of that,
and don't win at home.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. What if I told you, when you spoke of Justin Verlander and having a 5-0 run, what if I told you that Justin Verlander has never won in the World Series?
No wins. Is that right?
No wins. He's never won a game in the World Series. He's had no decisions. He's had plenty of losses. I think he's 0-7 in the World Series and a couple of no decisions, even though they won the World. Yeah, he's never won a game, and have a 5-0 lead against the Phillies. It still could make it. You'd be surprised. Yeah.
See, I think he's going to get one. I think he's going to get one because so far this postseason has been kind of every other start has been good for him. And with this rain delay, this postponement, and the extra day off, he's going to be ready to go in the rotation. That bullpen's going to be good if he gets a lead again. I don't think it'll happen to him again that way. I think he's going to be hard to beat next time. But hey, if he has a track record, he could be wrong. I could be very wrong.
It's going to be very interesting now that you got back-to-back games, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, games 3, 4, and 5 respectively. And so it's going to be, especially game 5, when you really get into it, it's going to be a lot more pitching, a lot less batting, because those guys are there's going to be fatigue that sets in with going back to back, especially with the World Series and all the emotions, all the hype that's going behind it. The reason why I started off with hate It's because literally when there was 4 teams left, 3 of them I don't like. I don't like the Astros. I don't like the Yankees. I don't like the Phillies. And now it's the Astros and the Phillies. I don't like either one. Phillies being a division rival. Just it is what it is. But it made it tough to even say that I think that the Phillies will win this. I'm still softening up my tone on that because A, I don't care. B, I mean, the Astros are just, they were up 5-0 game one. They were up 5-0 game two. They're just better at playing baseball. You can only ride on so much emotion to where the talent overrules all. And so now with the little additional rest, I don't know. The game, shout out and apologies to my boy Paul Odom. He's actually in Philadelphia right now for the game, and it got rained out. Paul and Brittany. Brittany works for the Woodpeckers here, which is a Houston Astros affiliate here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And so they got tickets to the World Series, and they're in Philly right now, and the game is postponed. So hopefully.
Sadly, though, Be Live, it's not like the Astros window is closing. Like they better win it this year. That team's not. They're young. They're loaded, and they get pitching. I mean, they had everything you want. The only place they're not really young is at manager. Their manager's 100.
You ain't got to come at Dusty Baker like that.
I like Dusty. He's like the only part of the Astros I like.
Right.
And the thing about it is, man, I really want Dusty to get one. That's all. I mean, he has a Hall of Fame resume, but if he get that one, fast track to Cooperstown. Fast track.
I'm not rooting for him. He got one as a player. That's good enough.
So across the board, the Sports Bros podcast, hey, on the teams that are in the World Series. The World Series is a beautiful thing. Is America's pastime. We're definitely going to watch it. I found it hard to watch. I really didn't watch much stuff on Saturday because I'm a big college football fan. And y'all already know that about me. So I found it just a little hard to watch. Really didn't pay much attention on Saturday because I was watching other games. And
let's transition then. You want to transition, Eddie? You want to transition us on that?
Coming up next, after this, the Be Live Top 5. Don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. We're coming back. We're coming right back. Right back. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, toads, chickens, monkeys, White Claw drinkers, Hennessy sippers, and Miller Lite guzzlers. This is the Be Live Top 5.
You know what time it is, man. I got to come in strong because guess what's happening? The College Football Playoff Committee is coming out with they're coming out with their rankings starting today. This episode is being released on Tuesday. And so as today stands, the College Football Playoff Committee will be coming together and deciding who they believe should be in the playoff. But right now, it's my time. Brucey's time. Be Live's time to shine. Here it comes with the Be Live Top 5. Coming in at number 5, and it stands true, is my Clemson Tigers. They're just on the outside looking in right now. The only reason that it sits at that is because there's a couple of struggle wins. Wake Forest, Syracuse, couple of questionable calls here, there. And their resume going out is not the strongest. But at the end of the day, they do their job. They win, they're in. Because the top 4 teams, they all play each other. So somebody's got to go. Coming in at number 4, I've got the Michigan Wolverines. The reason why I have them at number 4, they look impressive. They've handled their business. But what's on their resume? The only ranked victory they have is against Penn State. That's the only ranked victory they have. And then there was a little questionable going against Maryland, and their strength of schedule is the weakest out of these top 5 teams that I have going on. Michigan coming in at number 4, but they can always right the ship. You know what game's coming up at the end of November. Speaking of, coming in at number 3, the Ohio State University. Why, Be Live? How, Sway? You had them at number 1. Yes, I had them at number 1. I watched the Penn State game. Penn State had them a little bit on the ropes. And so I'm listening, but hey, they're still missing their top receiver. But once again, I'm looking at their resume. Their only ranked victories, again, is Penn State. And at the time, then number 5, Notre Dame. Notre Dame's not even ranked anymore. That's it for Ohio State. Guess what? The Big Ten is not that strong, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, I hate to burst your bubble. It just isn't. And that's why I have these 2 teams at number 1 and number 2, just because I like to build up the hype, because it's happening this coming weekend. So at number 2, I have the Georgia Bulldogs. The Georgia Bulldogs come in at number 2. Everybody else is going to have them number 1. Not this guy, not at all. You know why? Because their only ranked victory in Georgia is against Oregon. And Oregon, I believe right now, is ranked number 8. Oregon has made Georgia's strength of schedule go up because they're playing good football. Their only loss is against Georgia. So Oregon's handling the business on the West Coast that makes Georgia just a little bit better. But that's the only ranked victory that Georgia has. And like I said, I'm not letting them off the hook with Kent State and Missouri. And yes, that leads to my number 1. Yes, you haven't heard it. You're hearing it now. Number 1, good old Rocky Top, Tennessee. I have Tennessee at number 1. You want to know why? Tennessee is because
they beat Pitt. They beat Pitt. Of course, you're going to beat. You get a lot of points for beating Pitt. It was an overtime game. They had to. They got by. A win's a win. They beat Pitt. So much respect.
You gonna let me finish? Gonna let me do my thing?
You said you know why, and I answered.
That's not just it.
Oh.
But that goes into play because Tennessee has ranked victories over now number 6 Alabama, now number 18 LSU, now number 19. I think that's changed a little bit. Kentucky. At the time, Pitt was ranked at 17. They also have a ranked victory against Florida. They have 5 ranked victory, by far more than anybody else in the top 5. And the only questionable victories were against Florida and Pitt. Their strength of schedule is the toughest out of all the teams that are in the top 5. Tennessee has already been through a lot of the gauntlet. And then this week, Tennessee, Georgia will tell it all.
A 3:30 game?
Yes. Who will reign supreme in the SEC East? It is what it is. Again, I guarantee you, I will be watching. Woo, that is your Be Live top 5. Tennessee, Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, Clemson. But I have a top 5, and then I got to come with some teams that just, they are not who we thought they were, and I'm not going to let them off the hook. Coming in with Be Live's not top 5. Man, oh man, let's go ahead and get it. Overrated. Coming in hot. Number 5, Texas A&M. Why is Texas A&M on your list again? They're 3-5. Be Live, stop beating a dead horse. The reason why is because we really thought they beat Alabama last year. They're riding all the momentum. They got the number 1 ranked recruiting class coming into this year. But now this past week, losing that Ole Miss, they're sitting at 3-5. They started the year at number 6 in the country, and it fell off the rails. Texas A&M, what happened? Coming in at number 4. This is where it gets a little personal. It is what it is. Number 4, Syracuse. What are you doing? What happened? You can't go undefeated. You can't. You're all the way up to number 14. You ACC, baby. This is it right here. We got teams that are up there ranked. And then you lose 2 straight games? I understand you lost to Clemson. Clemson is just Clemson. But then you lose to Notre Dame 41-24. We don't know exactly who Notre Dame is. I guess we'll find out because this coming week, Clemson versus Notre Dame. Whew. Let's get it. Let's go in South Bend. Man, oh man, you already know. I think that's a 7:30 game. Of course, I'll be watching. All in, all roads lead to Dabo. As I said, the next part's a little personal to me. Syracuse, I need you to be a little bit better. Number 3. Wake Forest. Come on, bruh. You tied for number 10 in the country. You took that loss to Clemson, double overtime, and hey, Sam Hartman, y'all been doing things. But then you lose to Louisville? You give up 35 points in the third quarter. 35 points to Louisville in the third quarter. And they gave up 8 turnovers. 8 turnovers in that game against Louisville. Wake Forest, what are you doing? You're making Clemson's schedule weaker. You're making it weaker. And another team that makes Clemson's schedule weaker comes in at number 2. Eddy Kool, just be prepared. Here it is. They finally make it into the top 25. Man, they talk about old Beamer ball this. They got the lights bouncing and lighting up and all that stuff, and they walk up out of there, and all this hype. They finally make it to the top 25. Only to be there for a week and fall right back out. The game chickens of South Carolina. Come on, bruh. You beat Texas A&M. You beat ranked Kentucky. Y'all are riding high. Mizzou.
4-game win streak. The same Missouri team that was on that Georgia was on the struggle bus with.
Mizzou. A team that personifies the tough and elite status of the SEC. It just means more Mizzou. Come on, South Carolina. You made it ranked. You're supposed to stay there, and you did. And then once again, probably won't be ranked for the Clemson game, which would have helped our strength of schedule make it into the playoff if we were to win. I say if because you never know what happens. Our focus is on Notre Dame. But I did you a solid because they are not my most overrated team this week. They come in at number 2.
Thank God.
I tried to, but that was going to be a little too personal. But I just couldn't. I could not put this team at number 1 because I just don't understand it. Oklahoma State, number 8 in the country, most likely playing for a spot in the Big 12 title game. Possible playoff consideration, only 1 loss, and you lay a goose egg against Kansas State? 0, nothing, Nathaniel, nada. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and say this. The goose is now the state bird of Oklahoma. The goose. Because Oklahoma laid a goose egg against Texas, and Oklahoma State laid a goose egg against Kansas State. The goose is now the state bird of Oklahoma. Come on, bro. 48-0, Nathaniel, nada, zip, zilch. Whew. Oklahoma State, you are not who we thought you were, and you will not be let off the hook. Overrated. And that is your B-Live, not top 5. Fellas, what say you?
Well, for the not top 5, I totally agree with South Carolina. It was a good 7 days. You know, when the Panthers and the Gamecocks win, at the same damn weekend, but for some strange reason, I can't never get the Panthers to win and the Gamecocks to win. We shouldn't have lost to damn Missouri. We should not have lost to Missouri. Oklahoma State, what happened? They were down bad according to Bleacher Report, and it's just bad. Then Syracuse, once again, what happened? Matter of fact, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but Lenoris Sellers of South Florence, he's going to be committed to Syracuse, which means he'll be playing indoors. So they got to help a quarterback. That damn South Florence program, the Bruins, and North Myrtle Beach is in the same division as West Florence, South Florence, Wilson, Hartsville, and Myrtle Beach. Yeah, we'll just be swimming in the goo of 4A for a while. But yeah, be live. I'm cool with that. Scottie D, what say you?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't Michigan the school that has like the biggest stadium in college?
Yep.
Don't they seat more than any, or is it Penn State? One of them. They're
I think they're right around that. They sit over 100,000.
Yep.
Over 100,000. That means they make a lot of money.
Whole lot
on ticket sales because there's a lot of tickets to sell. You would think by now you would have enough money to renovate the tunnel. Why are we fighting in the tunnels? Can we build a second tunnel? You got a salt battery going on in the tunnel, Michigan. Michigan State's in there hiding in the hallways. They're hiding for an ambush, like a cops and robbers kind of deal. Oh my goodness sakes! They're beating guys up. Guys are getting beat up. The cops are getting involved. You can't renovate the tunnel or at least send security. You don't have enough money to pay security to keep the team separate from going in and out of the tunnel. Ridiculous. And that's not the first time it happened, I think, in Michigan this year, if I'm not mistaken.
It is not. And on top of that, the Michigan team was still on the field. Whoever the player was, I don't have his name offhand. I guess he was headed to the locker room early. And we don't know. A lot of details are still left out of it. I've been looking and really haven't got much about that. But man, it was
the ugly. Second guy that got beat up worse, though. The second guy that came in and tried to help his buddy, and they assaulted him with a helmet. They hit him with that's brandishing a weapon, and they hit him in the head and neck. It was just what a mess. Those kids all got to get suspended permanently. You can't let them back. You can't let them back on the team for that. That's crazy. It's one thing when emotions spill over on the field and you're fighting and you're scrapping, but you can't ambush a kid in the tunnel. That was just insanity. So
yeah, I mean, emotions after you catch a 62-yard touchdown with 12 seconds to go and get penalized because you have human emotions. But I'm sorry, my bad.
Right. Well, fellas, we know who else went to Michigan State.
Magic Johnson.
No.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did. But I'm talking about Michigan State fighting. I'll give you one.
Draymond.
I'm about to say, I'll give you one big hint. I punched my teammate in the face because he got a max contract, and I'm probably on my way out.
Draymond, yeah. Yeah, that was ridiculous. That can't happen. But to me, it's puzzling that situation even happens. I mean, that's a pretty big institute to not be able to provide some kind of. And I don't know how it's designed. I've never been there, but you would think it's approximately 2022. You'd think by now they could fix that.
I'm gonna throw you a bone just to make light of certain things. Not make a light of that situation, but a major design flaw actually turned into a tradition, and it actually happens at Clemson. You know how they get into the buses and travel to the other side of the field? It's because
Dabo, yeah.
That part. But yes, when they made renovations to the stadium, the locker room is literally on the other side. Like they do their walk and everything, but then their entrance is on the other side of the stadium, the way the stadium ended up being designed. And so they turned it into a tradition where they get on buses and ride around the stadium and it's the most beautiful thing there is to see, the most exciting 25 seconds of college football. I would like to have my balloons back, but everybody being eco-conscious and stuff, it is what it is. You know what? Give me some pyrotechnics. That's what I need. I need orange fireworks now. If you can't have the balloons, let's get some orange smoke or something.
Hello. I'm sorry. I fell asleep. I don't know what happened. I fell asleep. I just saw.
Yeah, just like your game. Missouri.
I saw Orange Cassidy, orange juice, orange Kool-Aid, orange lollipops.
A lot of orange going on. Syracuse involved.
Yeah, a whole lot. Yeah, Syracuse, Lenore Sellers, stay home, player. Stay home. Lenore Sellers, you don't want to go to Syracuse, New York. That's what about it. It snows in Syracuse, Lenore Sellers. Unless they paying for your full ride scholarship, I understand it. But Lenore's, go ahead and stay. Come to Columbia. Come to Columbia. You come to Columbia.
He don't want to do that.
Clemson already got a guy named Cade Klubnik because DJ Uiagalelei is hot garbage. Hey. Bubble screen, jam route, 50-50 ball.
that may be why Trevor Lawrence is struggling so much in the NFL. I said what I said, but we digress a lot.
But at least, but Trevor Lawrence is talented though. I mean, it wasn't just like, hey, you're gonna run these 3 plays. With DJ, it's like, look, you're gonna run these 3 plays. All right. I'm gonna run these 3 plays. It ain't working. Punt the ball, I guess. I don't know. Punt on 3rd down. Like Canada. Hell, I don't know.
I'm gonna say this as a diehard Clemson Tiger fan. We went 15-0 that year more because of our defense than it was our offense. Like that game against Alabama, we picked 6 for a touchdown and just ran roughshod against them. The defense set the tone. Trevor Lawrence we had some primitive Jesus. Can't talk today.
Where's Button? Get Button. Get Button.
All right, that's it for the Be Live top 5 and not top 5. And Scottie D's looking at his watch and frowning. Give us your angry face, Scott. Give us your angry face.
Yes. Lord. You have your own segment. I have my own segment. Golly, just go ahead. Go ahead.
I do.
Yeah, the choice of the voice is that's your baby.
That's your baby.
That's not my segment. Let's go there. Let's get there.
You make up the questions. What you mean?
All right,
Joe Button, hit it.
We know it's time once again for our favorite portion of the show, the choices of the voices before Scottie D blows a gasket. With that being said, hey, yo, Button, hit it. And happy belated birthday to you. Choices of the voices coming up next. Scott is hot.
And now, our favorite part of the show, the choices of the voices.
Once again, thank you to the wonderful and ever so, wait a minute, and you ready, Scottie D? So love you, Ms. Button, for introducing our favorite portion of the show, the choices of the voices. We ask y'all the question, y'all give us answers, and then we talk about it right here on the Sports Bros podcast with Scottie D's baby, the choices of the voices, because this is Scottie D's brainchild, all right? There you go, Scottie D. You got a segment too, all right?
Sadly enough, the Be Live top 5 was my brainchild as well, but some ideas are better than others. We'll just say it that way. Without specificity, we'll just say it that way.
Without specificity. That might be the title of today's show, without specificity. like what you said, specificity.
My memory ain't that good anyway, so if I'm pretty sure you mentioned something about it, and I ran with it. So Scottie D does have a lot of good ideas. I'll give him that much. God, that even hurt to say that I just gave him credit for something.
Oh boy, here you go. Before you call Earl, Raff, and Julio and take a trip to Yaxissippi, let's go ahead and get into the choices of the voices and the insider. Scottie D, what's the topic for this week's choices of the voices?
Wow, it seems like a long time ago since I asked this, and longer ago since it happened. But we're going back when Devontae Adams shoved down the photographer coming off of at this rate, he probably shoving a bunch of guys down and getting a ball a game thrown his way. But we asked at the time. The NFL still hasn't ruled on it.
No.
Nope. But do you think he should be suspended? If so, how many games? And let's just see what we got here, Eddy Kool.
All right, here we go. We got Trey Dizzle leading it off. Are you ready? All right. He said, he said, I really don't care if he gets suspended, but I wish that Dak Prescott will become a cameraman. Hey, Trey Dizzle, y'all won yesterday, and Dak got his other hand stepped on.
Yeah, he did. He didn't learn his lesson about sliding. and he got stepped on trying to throw a stiff arm and get tackled. But hey, actually, I tell you what, Dak did all right on Sunday. He had a really questionable call he threw at the end of the first half, but otherwise
it was against the Lions.
No, it was against the Bears. But
the Bears, one of the two, was okay. You know what? That's how much I wasn't even paying attention.
He played well. He looked bad his first week back. I mean, that's only the third game he's played since he tried to run for a touchdown against San Francisco with no time left on the clock. It was only his third game, so this was his best one since then. But anyway, point taken. Trey, you don't like Dak. Next.
There you go. And you want to push him. All right, here we go. We got a Hall of Famer himself, Uncle Max. Somebody check on him because it's Packers. Going through it. All right. He said, I didn't know about this. I didn't know about this color me. I don't know about this, so color me uniform. I have
uninformed. He doesn't know what's going on.
Color me uniform. Somebody give me some glasses.
Uninformed.
I got you. Okay. I didn't know about this, so color me uninformed. Uniform.
There you go.
All right, so here we go. I have now watched the video, and it brings back shades of Woody Hayes. You remember Woody Hayes punching Clemson players in the mouth? The Raiders should release him so Green Bay can pick him up for the league minimum. That way, Karen Rodgers won't be so lonely.
All right.
We have somehow.
That's a good take.
Has Trey Duke influenced the great Hall of Famer, Uncle Max?
He infiltrated.
Like now, Uncle Max is just hating on his quarterback and choices of the voices. What has happened to this beautiful segment that we've had?
It's still beautiful. It's just a hate is spewed from Dallas to Green Bay. Yeah, for a very legitimate reason. All right. We got JR. He says, no, he shouldn't be. He has human emotions. It got out of control. And the guy walked right in the way, being funny, in my opinion.
Okay. So he's going the opposite way.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. It is what it is. It's an occupational hazard. Matty, I said, I would say part of the job of the cameraman. It's not like he was injured. He just pushed him. He got right back up. Give me a break. Ridiculous, in my opinion. Big to do about nothing.
So cameraman should have been where he was at.
Yep.
Okay. And it wasn't even hurt. But yep, I see that. All right.
Tom Wynn said anywhere between 2 to 4 games. You're a professional despite your little boy emotions. Tom Wynn with the fire.
Coming in hot.
Yeah.
Spicy.
Very, very much so. 2 to 4 games. I would get it, All right. So Amy Woodworth, she said 1 game. It's like when my boys would fight. The instigator got 1 day grounding, of course. It was more than 1 day if there was blood, a chainsaw involved, if there was a hole left in the wall, a golf ball was hit off the roof, if an air gun was involved, or if the doorbell caught on fire. All 2 instances at my house. Amy, what?
Oh wow!
Wait a minute,
Amy. What in the hell is going on at your house? The last thing I want for you, Amy, is to have CPS going. Knocking on your
okay. Let me break this down real quick. 2 boys fighting. I get blood may be involved. I get that.
Yeah.
A chainsaw. Whoa. We need to bring her on the show just to explain this, because a chainsaw, hole left in the wall, I can see that happening. Golf ball hit off the roof. How, Sway? I get it. I mean, depending on how you have access to your roof. Air gun, I can see that. You'll put your eye out. I can understand that. How in the entire hell does your doorbell catch on fire?
I was thinking it too. Yeah. Not the whole house, just the door. Not even the door.
Doorbell. Okay, I need to talk to the contractor, or did you install it yourself? Where there's some wires crossed. What happened? Not what happened. Let me break it down to you. What happened? I need inquiring minds want to know. So she says 1 game, and
Maybe if she'd have been a little bit harsher on the punishments, the doorbell would have caught on fire after the chainsaw came out.
I'm trying to think. Okay, so so somehow her boys were involved with the how we need her on the show.
Yeah,
just to explain this answer.
Amy,
I need that. We are inviting you onto the Sports Bros podcast to explain your parental situationals. Is that the best? I think that's the best way to put it. Ain't got nothing to do with sports, but this could be one of the best answers I've ever seen.
Juicy stuff.
Juicy. I want to know about this chainsaw and how the damn doorbell caught on fire. Mainly, I want to know more about the chainsaw.
The chainsaw.
Yeah.
Boys can be boys.
Yeah.
Whew. That door.
I'm going to read.
All right.
I'm going to read again. One game. It's like when my boys would fight. The instigator got a 1 day grounding. Of course, it was more than 1 day if there was blood, a chainsaw involved, if a hole was left in a wall, if a golf ball was hit off the roof, if an air gun was involved, or if the doorbell caught on fire. All true incidents in my house. Amy Woodworth, you get. Come here. You got to go on the podcast. We got to talk about this. We got to talk.
As a kid, if I had a chance to hit a golf ball off the roof, I absolutely would. I'm getting that punishment. Oh, come on.
It's well worth it. Even though I fall and bust my ass, it's well worth it. Trust me. All right. We got Craig Burns. He said no suspension. It was unintentional.
And from everything I looked at, I didn't see it as, but I don't know. So,
is that all of them? Is that everybody we got?
Yep,
that was it.
That's also shout to Trey Dizzle, Uncle Max, JR, Matty Ice Spartan Tracy, Tom Winner, Chicken Dinner, and Amy Woodworth, aka Watch the Damn Doorbell and Leave the Door Open, and Craig Burns for their participation in this week's Choices of the Voices. That answer was funny as hell. Scottie D, what say you? Should he be suspended or should he not be suspended?
1 game. I think that's enough. It was emotions were high. He didn't hurt the guy. He gave him a shove. He didn't hit him. He didn't run him over with the shoulder pads. He gave him a little shove. The guy tripped and fell down. It's 1 game. It kind of brought back a little bit of memories to me of Dennis Rodman when he tripped over the cameraman and landed. I think he lost possession of the ball. He gave the cameraman just a little kick, and the guy started laying back like he was completely injured, and he had to sue and all that. And I think this guy's suing too. Look, come on, guys. I mean, I get it. He wants to cash in and make a few bucks. I can't blame the guy for that, but it wasn't a big deal. It was a little shove and the guy went down. It's an emotional guy walking off the field. It's not like he took his helmet off or anything. Not like he started talking trash to an empty front row in Atlanta or anything like that. He shoved the guy. He should get a suspension. 1 game. I'm good. Be live.
I don't understand. My whole premise of this entire show. Fine him. Why are we suspending him? Because he definitely took the last game off. Yeah. He didn't show up. He didn't play that last game.
Maybe he was suspended. We didn't know it. Yeah, maybe.
Jesus. Right.
Yeah.
No suspension. Here's the thing. A fine is warranted because you do need to keep your emotions in check when it comes to he did make contact with the cameraman. Whether the cameraman is hurt or not is immaterial. He did make contact. But I don't think it warrants a suspension. It's just the guy's all right. Hey, hit him in the pockets of civil court. At the end of the day, hit his pockets. He'll know that he shouldn't do that. He knows that he shouldn't have done it. He expressed immediate remorse. Fine him. Yeah, that's what he expressed immediate remorse. Fine him. Take a little money out of his pocket so that it is a precedent. There has to be some type of punishment.
Yeah.
So, but suspension is not warranted here. There's all kinds of content that happens, and I don't see your.
Hey, cameraman, if you want to make some money, get in front of the Michigan State players. That's where the gold is.
Yeah, that's a good payday there. That's a real payday. Yeah, that's a straight up payday right there. Yeah, you want to get paid, do that. I look at it like this. Fine, hit them pockets. The best way you can hurt somebody, well, not the best way you can hurt somebody, but the best way to prove a point, I've learned over the years from dealing with my brother, who was a restaurant manager, from people I've talked to in the past, is an act of discipline when it comes to employees being unruly. Hit them pockets. Hit them pockets, because with money, you got to use money to buy food in order to eat. So if you hit them pockets, they'll think twice before they do it again. So don't suspend them. It's been a turbulent season enough in Vegas. So just bust them pockets. All right.
I got a question, because a suspension does hit their pockets because they don't get paid for that game.
Yeah,
now,
he'd lose a game check for that, for sure.
Like, why aren't fines bigger? Some of these fines are a joke.
Yeah,
they really are.
You got the wrong color socks on. So
11. Like, I look at it this way: if I get paid $25 million a year and I get fined $11,000, here you go. That's right, literally that's my piggy bank money. If you look in perspective, that's 0.01% of my annual paycheck. That's not even, like, I could do the math in my, they're taking in $300,000 a month, of 250, somewhere around there. 11,000. Here you go, bro. You got it. That's just less money that goes in my savings account. But yeah, the fine should be larger. 100,000. Boom, boom. You don't do it again. Let the man play. That you don't suspend people for that. Emotions ran high. There's no physical harm. If there was physical harm, then you increase it. But looking at the situation at hand, nah.
And to be clear, if there is a no suspension, I'm good with that too. I just hope it doesn't go into like overboard where he says we're going to give the guy 4 games or something like that. I hope that this commissioner, who I am not a fan of, and I've mentioned over and over again, I just hope he doesn't decide I'm going to be Mr. Disciplinarian here and sit him down for 4 or 5 games. Well, if you're going to suspend him at all, make it a game and move on. That's my.
Yeah, well, Scottie D, like you said, it is your boy Roger Goodell. The sheriff's in town. Please, don't
like him. Don't like him.
The hell out of here. High-level knuckleheaded activities. That's an episode of the Sports Bros podcast that you should check out from a long time ago. Matter of fact, if this is your first time listening, go to the back catalog. We got 4 years worth of stuff. We're going to be working on a bonus episode soon, the best of. So just stay tuned for everything here at Sports Bros podcast. With that being said, Scottie D, what's on tap for next week?
B-Lab gave me an idea a few weeks ago. I think this is kind of where it was at. But as a kid, what NFL player made you fall in love with football? Who was basically your first favorite football player? Who got you hooked on the NFL? I think eventually we all kind of grow up loving football, but there's got to be somebody that was like your first hero. I mean, I think I might have an idea who mine was, but anyway, that's going to give us something to talk about next week, Eddy Kool.
All right, that's it. That's it for Choice of the Voices. Coming up next is a round of pepper. Take your medicine and wipe your nose. Just don't sneeze and wipe your boogers on me, all right? We got a round of pepper coming right up, all right?
Fair enough.
Okay, boys, let's bring it home with a round of pepper.
All right, you heard a woman. It's time for us to go home and get what I call the hell up out of here. But before we go, we're going to do a round of pepper. That's right. You know how we do it. We each have 3 topics, rapid fire style, kind of, sort of, not really here to engage, enlighten, and entertain, and educate. Those are the 4 E's in no particular order. And that's just a fictitious girl I'm telling to wipe her nose and the boogers and everything. I ain't got people in my house doing crazy stuff. So with that being said, I'll go first, all right? On this day back in 1966, the NFL awards the city of New Orleans their first football franchise to name the Saints, which alludes to November 1st, All Saints Day in the Catholic faith. Yep, New Orleans Saints. Still can't stand you. You're the Aints, but happy birthday to the Saints. Keep pounding. Over to you, Scottie D.
I want to tell you about something that's bugging me that I'm sick of.
Uh-oh.
Copycats. It always happens. Here's the thing I'm sick of in the copycatters. Scoring a touchdown in the opposing stadium and going shh to the crowd. It's old. It's been done. It's not funny. It's not clever. It's stupid. Quit doing this. Quit shushing the crowd because you made a nice play and you're showing off to the other crowd. Shh. It's stupid and I'm tired of it. Be live, over to you.
You and your disdain against celebrations. I'm about had it with you.
That's give me something new. Do something different.
You just pouring salt in the wound again. I mean, DJ Moore did sort of jump into the stands in Atlanta. That again, find the man.
And nobody was there. Nobody's there to taunt.
They left. That stadium was almost empty. They left because they thought the game was out of reach. And oh my, don't you dare! That game went into overtime. It was actually pretty exciting, all things considering. All right. Scottie D, you spoke about it earlier, and I'm going to continue to divulge into it because this is my first pepper point because it needs to be said. Michigan State, the 4 players that were involved in the little scuffle against Michigan, 2 of Michigan's players, have been announced. And linebacker Tank Brown, cornerback Kerry Crump, safety Angelo Gross, and defensive end Zion Young have been suspended effective immediately after the videotapes began to come out of the incident in the tunnel, and they will remain suspended until all investigations are completed. It was such an ugly sight. Rivalries aside, I understand it. Like, my 2 best friends in the world are diehard Gamecock fans. At no point in time have I ever wanted to physically assault them. Yeah, maybe I have, and like I might just because the 5 years in a row thing, but that was such a long time ago. That was 2013. They haven't been able to say anything to me since. But no, my bad. I digress.
Talk about old stuff.
It's current. It's an active streak. That's not old. It's active. But man, come on, players. Michigan State. You can't lose your composure. Scottie D is right though. You cannot have both teams going through the same tunnel at the end of the game. That literally breeds animosity. That should change somehow, some way. Let one team get to the locker room, the other team stays on the field. Protocols need to be put in place for that because emotions do run high. And yeah, the police are involved. Jim Harbaugh is looking for assault charges. Yeah, this will get ugly as more details come out. Eddy Kool. Boom! The ball.
And another thing, stop going to games and fighting in the stands. You pay $300 for them damn tickets, but you want to fight. Makes no sense.
Yes.
Alcohol.
Alcohol and stupidity. Alcohol, and stupidity. All right. So as you know, here at the Sports Bros podcast, we are wrestling fans. All right, we are wrestling fans, and something happened yesterday as I was waking up out of my slumber from a long double shift at my job. I was like, what's going on in the world today? And what's the first thing I see? I see a graphic of Japanese wrestling legend, the Great Muta. Yes, the Great Muta, face paint, the mythical creature himself. Great Muta is one of the best to ever do it. One of my top 10 favorite wrestlers of all time. And he's going to be going on a farewell tour, the final bye-bye as the Great Muta. And guess who his opponent is?
Who is it?
WWE superstar Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura. Yes, the forbidden door has been kicked open. About time Triple H made it happen. I think it's a big move. It'll take place at the New Year event for Pro Wrestling Noah. It'll be a singles match. It'll be taking place on New Year's Day, 2023 at Nippon Budokan, and you can find it on Abema, or I guess that streaming service over there. I might have to watch that. All right, so going into it, Shinsuke Nakamura, according to E-Wrestling News, Shinsuke Nakamura will wrestle the Great Muta at Pro Wrestling Noah's The New Year 2023 event on January the 1st, 2023 at Budokan Hall. All right, and an article from Tokyo Sports recently revealed how Nakamura received permission from WWE to work the bout. And it says, after a disagreement at first, he persisted in negotiating with a new regime after Chairman and CEO Vince McMahon retired in July. The final agreement was reached on October 26th, and it seems that the tenacity has paid off. Nakamura said, "It's nothing short of a miracle. Of course I wanted to do it. I opened the door that no one could break in. Ha 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 ha. It's real. Forbidden door. I think it's really fate. And I worked hard to make it happen. I fought Keiji Muto twice in the past, but this was my first encounter with the Great Muta. And the first and the last. I definitely think that I am in the midst of a miracle of the times." Fellas, the Forbidden Door is being kicked down. We got WWE and Pro Wrestling Noah working together. At this point, quit playing and give us a super show. I'm just saying. Give us a super show. All kind of stuff. Over to you, Scottie D.
Yeah, I like that idea for sure. Mm-hmm. And speaking of the squared circle, Vasily Lomachenko returned to the squared circle this past Saturday night in his first lightweight fight since losing his title to Teofimo Lopez a couple years ago. He defeated Jermaine Ortiz in a lightweight battle, and seems like his next fight is going to be against Devin Haney, the champion. That's one that hardcore boxing fans will want to see. The fight that everybody really wanted to see was, it's gone by the wayside again, and that's Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. They're not going to fight. Terrence Crawford is now taking on David Avanasian or somebody like that nobody cares about, somebody I don't care about. I guess Crawford wanted to fight before the end of the year, and I don't know how it is with boxing. You know how UFC gives you a fight you want to see like every week? Mm-hmm. Boxing is again dragging their feet. If only there was a hero out there for boxing, someone to step up. But wait, there is. And his name is Jake Paul, who went to 5-0. 5-0. Ran his record on Saturday night with a unanimous decision over the Spider Anderson Silva. Jake Paul now looking to take on all comers, and it looks like Nate Diaz, free from his UFC contract, might be up next. Sign me up for that one. As the face of boxing, Jake Paul looks to take on his next opponent. Be Live, over to you.
Be Live.
He said that with a straight face. How in the hell did you say that with a straight face?
The face of boxing. Our hero, the man to save the sport.
I didn't watch a single bit of it. All I heard was
Westlake, Ohio's own.
The fix was in, and whatever. Did Silva actually get knocked down? I don't know.
He knocked him down, not out. He did knock him out.
Yeah, just whatever. All right.
Face of boxing.
Well, I get to bring up this situation in the NBA where the San Antonio Spurs have waived their guard Joshua Primo in the wake of several allegations of him exposing himself to women, sources tell ESPN, who is reporting this story. And he clears waivers. No team wants him, essentially, because they would pick up his $8 million plus in salary through next season. The reason why I'm reporting this story is not because of what he did, where he's allegedly exposing himself to women, him getting waived by the San Antonio Spurs, but the attorney that is representing the women alleging this behavior. You want to take a wild guess who the attorney is that is representing the women in this case? Just a wild.
Does it have anything to do with Deshaun Watson?
It absolutely freaking does.
Oh, wow.
Oh, boy, here we go.
Tony Busby, once again, is back in headlines. Because what does this, who is this guy? He's been retained by a woman who works for the Spurs and says Primo exposed himself to her. He literally made his name off of the Sean Watson, and now he's once again back in the highlights, now representing another woman who's reporting that Primo exposed himself to her. Fellas, just be careful.
Please.
Stop doing dumb stuff. And don't do anything in the state of Texas where Tony Busby could be remotely around. Just stop it. But yeah, Eddy Kool, the ball.
I was gonna say something about
ball, not exposed balls.
No.
The ball.
No. I'm not gonna do that. I had something I want to say about Tony Busby. We'll do it off air. All right. So third and final pepper point. Shout out to my man Trayshawn, Mr. Vicious Gore. He gets his first victory this weekend at UFC Fight Night 213. When I was home in South Carolina, I had a chance to talk to his grandmother, and his uncle and his mother during my trip home to Little River / Northern Beach, South Carolina. Shout out to him. He got his first victory. He is 4-2 in all combined MMA and 1-2 in the UFC. He earned the Performance of the Night bonus award. He got some more money. Yes, sir. For his vicious second round guillotine choke of Josh from this past Sunday at the UFC Apex. All right. He says it feels really good to officially call myself a UFC fighter. Against a tough 9-3 opponent, against a guy that sat down and watched film on me to beat me, but it feels good. It feels really good. He also says my ground game is solid. People don't know about it because I just rather prefer to knock people out on their feet sometimes, but it doesn't mean that I'm not a well-rounded fighter. And tonight I showed that I was well-rounded. He also said, I just want to improve. I feel like being in the top. I feel like I'm elite in certain areas, but I got to improve in others. I got to get better. I feel like Fortis is the place to do that, referring to where he was training at under Safid Saud. All right. And so that's right. Shout out to the neighborhood kid, the local guy, Trayshawn Gore, for getting his first UFC win this past Saturday night. Trayshawn Gore, if you're listening, come on the podcast, man. We want to talk to you, man. We want to talk to you, and that'll be another thing we have on the Sports Bros podcast. We've talked to a real life UFC fighter. So if you're listening, or if anybody's listening, if somebody can get in contact with Trayshawn Gore, come holla at your boys. All right, over to you, Scottie D.
Right, UFC, and actually big one coming up in a couple weeks. 281, Israel Adesanya taking on Alex Pereira, who defeated him, knocked him out a couple of years ago. Defeated him twice, knocked him out the second time in a kickboxing match. Different ball game this time, but this is a nemesis from the Stylebender's past. What the hell else was I getting ready to say? Oh, I know what it was. I drew a blank there. Guess who won a game?
Who won a game, Scottie D? Who won?
Oh, dear God. How in the world did you fit them?
The Lakers won a game. The Lakers are off the schneid. LeBron and the boys are now 1-5. And give credit to Russell Westbrook for coming off the bench and not pulling a hammy, because that was kind of his reason for not coming off the bench in the first place. Because when he did, he pulled his hamstring. Because when you don't start, you can pull a hammy. So he's riding a bicycle now, playing about 32, 33 minutes, leading the second team while LeBron taking. The Lakers are back, baby.
No, the hell they're not.
They are back. They are back. Be live. Over to you.
I knew you about to say some stupid.
They got Anthony Davis.
Oh my God, old Glass. But you know what?
And they got LeBron.
It never ceases to amaze me that you fit Jake Paul and the Lakers into your pepper points.
Yankees and the Cowboys, so he's 4 for 4.
You just got just all of it. All right.
Got all the popular teams in the face of boxing. Go ahead, B-Life.
All right. Well, let's finish this off in a style that I like to do. You know how I like to do my third and final pepper point. This was actually quite impressive. Fellas, have you ever played any type of racing game, like in the arcades or whatever, where you put your quarters in, you're in the car and everything, and you're racing, and like you're not in a real car, so you're not afraid to run into the wall or anything like that and cause that because you're not in a real car. Well, that made it to real life wrestling in one of the most iconic moves I have ever seen. And I'm talking about
real life wrestling.
I said real life racing.
Oh, okay.
Real life racing. Now, say that 5 times fast. But yes.
Oh, yeah, the car racer guy. Yeah.
NASCAR is down to the nitty gritty. They're down to the final 4 in the NASCAR Cup playoffs, where it's a winner take all for the championship. And in order to do so, there's certain ways you have to qualify and everything. And while
gets me so excited, I get up out of my seat.
Absolutely! I wanted to.
Yeah.
Ross Chastain was way behind in the race. He was in 10th place on the outside looking in when it comes to making it to the final 4. Mm-hmm. And he said, you know what? F it. And he says, I've got to make a move and I've got to make it now. So instead of trying to make a spectacular move on the inside, he said he's going to go full send into the wall, runs into the wall, rubs the wall all the way around the 4th turn. He's literally going a good 70 miles an hour faster than all the other racers because he slammed himself into the wall and propelled himself from 10th place to 5th place on the final lap and made it into the final 4 by making that move.
One of the greatest moments in sports history.
I hate your sarcasm. I absolutely despise your sarcasm.
I was excited. I saw the highlight. I was so excited. I'm right there with you.
Did you really see the highlight, sir?
I did, yes.
Did you really see it?
Scott Van Pelt showed it the other night, I think.
But come on now. In real life, would you think to actually see a guy deliberately crash into the wall?
No, he messed up and it worked out for him. Everyone said he did great because he went from 10th place to 5th place. He didn't even win. He went to 5th place.
He did it on purpose, though.
If I did that, I'd get a ticket and I'd have to take my car in.
That's exactly why it's crazy insane. It got me excited. I was like, wow, this dude is insane. Cruising world. Because I used to crash into the wall a lot when it came to racing. But NASCAR, you gotta love it. Eddy Kool, take us home.
I want to hear Scottie D going. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast. Let's say haunted for us. I turn back if I were you. We ain't even gonna go that way. With that being said, and then in closing, do something nice for yourself. And if you can't do something nice for someone else, they'll greatly appreciate it now more than ever. Be a blessing, not a burden. Try your best not to get on people's nerves. It's the holiday season, so let's love each other. Let's be cool. And let's have some damn fun. How about that? Let's have fun. Let's get back to living life and having fun, all right? It's been another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast. Be live. You know what the hell to do.
Yes, sir.
Y'all take care. See y'all next week. Sports Bros Podcast. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Shout out to Landon Sargent. Shout out to Reese Jenkins and Lesser Known Comics. Shout out to Trayshawn Gore, my neighborhood Boot Hill. Shout out to the world. We love you. We out. Bye.
Ashton Henry, we love you.
Yep. Hey, it's Eddy Kool here from the Sports Bros Podcast. And do you want some more of the Sports Bros Podcast in your life? Wait a minute, don't answer that. The answer is yes. And I know you want some more of the Sports Bros Podcast in your life. Do us a small favor. Go to the description box, click our Linktree link, and you'll see all the links on how to follow the Sports Bros Podcast. Once again, thanks for listening.